We live in a world that constantly demands we perform our success. We are told to build a personal brand, announce our ambitious goals to our followers, and project an image of absolute certainty before we have actually done the work. But look closely at the people following that playbook. You will see a trail of stalled careers and spectacular flameouts from incredibly promising individuals. If self-promotion and relentless hype actually worked, these people would be unstoppable. Instead, they hit a wall. The culprit here is ego, not the clinical Freudian definition, but the casual one, an unhealthy, premature belief in our own importance. It is the voice telling us we are special before we have earned the right to be. To understand how to beat this impulse, we have to look at a military strategist named John Boyd. He never published a book and rarely appeared in the media, yet he spent 30 years inside the Pentagon shaping the development of the F-15, the F-16, and the maneuver warfare theories used in the Gulf War. This diagram illustrates a speech Boyd gave to his most promising protégés. He called it the fork in the road. On one path, you can choose to be somebody. You chase promotions, titles, and public recognition, but you must compromise your values to get them. On the other path, you choose to do something. You focus entirely on the work and the impact, accepting that you might labor in total obscurity. This choice between ego and purpose will appear at every phase of our journey. We can see its impact by looking at the specific lives of those who chose to do and those who were consumed by being. When you are just starting out on a new project, the actual work is deeply intimidating. Ego offers a comfortable escape hatch. It provides the satisfying emotional reward of accomplishment right now, without requiring you to actually do anything difficult. In 1934, the author Upton Sinclair ran for governor of California. To build momentum before the election, he published a book outlining all the brilliant policies he had enacted as governor, written entirely in the past tense. He play-acted the victory. As a result, his motivation plummeted, his campaign stalled, and he lost the election by a massive margin. Research shows that talking about our goals tricks the mind into feeling like we have already achieved them. Every time we hype up our plans, we bleed off the vital energy and motivation required to sit down and face the friction of the actual task. Chatter is cheap. Choosing to keep your mouth shut and work through the resistance is what separates those who talk about art from those who produce it. As you try to gain a foothold in your field, you will inevitably be asked to do things you find beneath you. Ego insists that your degree or your raw talent means you shouldn't have to fetch coffee, organize spreadsheets, or serve the people above you. Consider how Bill Belichick started in professional football. He didn't demand a senior position. He volunteered for the unpaid, unglamorous task of analyzing game film. By doing the grueling grunt work, he absorbed every tactical detail of the sport and made himself indispensable to his coaches. He became the canvas that allowed others to paint. Taking the to-do path also means tolerating absolute unfairness. When people ignore your contributions or treat you poorly, your ego will scream at you to fight back and defend your personal pride. Look closely at Jackie Robinson's expression here. When he integrated Major League Baseball, he faced targeted, vicious abuse from fans, opponents, and even teammates. He made a calculated pact to endure the humiliation silently, knowing that a single outburst of retaliatory anger would derail the integration of the entire sport. He swallowed his pride to serve a larger goal. Surrendering your immediate desire for credit and validation is how you buy the time and space needed to build actual power. If you do manage to achieve your goal, a new danger emerges. Success is intoxicating. Achieving a milestone causes the ego to rewrite history, convincing you that your victory was entirely due to your own infallible genius rather than a mix of hard work, timing, and luck. You stop listening. Howard Hughes inherited a massive tool company fortune at 18, and his early success drove him straight into a state of total delusion. He believed his own hype so completely that he abandoned his profitable businesses to chase glamorous, erratic ventures in Hollywood and aviation without taking advice from anyone. Notice the sheer scale of this aircraft. Hughes ignored the warnings of engineers and military officials, pouring millions of dollars and 5 years into this plane. It flew exactly 1 time for 1 mile before sitting in a climate-controlled hangar for decades. It was a monument to a man who refused to be told he was wrong. Compare that to Genghis Khan. As his empire expanded, he didn't assume he knew everything. Instead, he systematically absorbed technologies, strategies, and scholars from every culture he conquered. He adopted siege warfare from the Chinese and the decimal system from Turkic tribes. He never stopped being a student. The second you let your success convince you that you have graduated, your knowledge begins to stagnate. Maintaining a rigorous, humble student mindset is the only psychological mechanism capable of preventing early success from mutating into terminal arrogance. This chart maps out 2 different approaches to our goals. We are constantly told to follow our passion, which produces wild, erratic spikes on the left. It's frantic, emotional, and tied to how we feel in the moment. Purpose is the steady, compounding line on the right. It's objective, deliberate, and focused on the function of the work. General William Sherman embodied this exact brand of quiet realism during the Civil War. He actually turned down early promotions because he wanted to be certain he was ready for the responsibility. He actively avoided the spotlight, focusing strictly on the tactical realities of the terrain and the well-being of his troops. No matter where you are right now, the roll call continues. Whether you are aspiring to your first role, managing the weight of a major success, or trying to rebuild after a failure, your ego is right there, offering you a comforting lie to get you to stop pushing. You have to decide which path you are on. Ignore the applause, tune out the constant demand for self-promotion, and choose doing over being. Get back to the work and sweep the floor every single day.